For this episode and episode 3, we're going to be looking at the most recent data from the 2019 report to see if the targets are on track and how they're measuring each target. Just a small note from the 2019 report, there was no new national data available for 3 of these targets, and so their status remains the same as it was in the 2018 report. I'll let you know which of these targets they are as we get to them. Target 1, to close the life expectancy gap within a generation. This target is measured by estimates of life expectancy at birth. These stats are available every 5 years and are the official estimate, but progress is also tracked using the annual mortality rate. So is it on track? No. Between 2010 and 2017, Indigenous life expectancy at birth has improved by 2.5 years for males and 1.9 years for females. However, these are both not statistically significant and have only reduced the gap a small amount. Longer term, Indigenous mortality rates have declined significantly since 1998. However, there's been no improvement since the 2006 baseline. Mortality rates are also continuing to decline for non-Indigenous Australians, which also explains why the gap has not narrowed since 2016. Target 2. To halve the gap in mortality rates for Indigenous children under 5 by 2018. This target is measured by using the ABS mortality data. Is it on track? No. Since the target baseline 2008, the Indigenous child mortality rate has declined by 10%, which isn't statistically significant, but the gap has not narrowed as the non-Indigenous rate has declined at a faster rate. There has been some progress over the longer term. Between 1998 and 2017, there has been a 35% decline in the Indigenous child mortality rate, and the gap has narrowed by 29%. Target 3. To have 95% of Indigenous 4-year-olds enrolled in early childhood education programs by 2025. This target is measured by the proportion of children enrolled in early childhood education in the year before they start full-time school, as collected in the National Early Childhood Education and Care Collection. This target expired unmet in 2013, with only 85% of Indigenous 4-year-olds in remote communities being enrolled, and this target was then renewed and expanded to being 95% of all Indigenous 4-year-olds being enrolled by 2025. So is this new target on track? Yes. In 2017, 95% of Indigenous 4-year-olds were enrolled in early childhood education, in line with the benchmark rate for this target. Target 4. To halve the gap in employment outcomes between Indigenous and non-Indigenous Australians by 2018. This target is measured by using data from the ABS National Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Health Survey and Social Survey, and the National Census. There is a health survey due to be available in late 2019, but before that, the census is the most recent data set, so this target status stays the same as in 2018. Is it on track? No. The Indigenous employment rate has actually fallen over the past decade from 48 to 46.6%, and during this time, the non-Indigenous employment rate has been broadly stable at about 72%. Stay tuned for episode 3, where we're going to look at the remaining 3 targets. This has been part 2 of Closing the Gap Explained. For sources, further information, and the rest of the videos in this series, head to my website. Cheers!